Hey, what's up, guys? Jake here with another episode of On the Rise Music Podcast. Today, we are honored to have special guest, DJ, and producer LazyFox or LazyFlex. Excuse me, LazyFlex.
Uh,
I'm not gonna butcher that again. I love your music, man. How you been?
Thank you. I've been good, man. Just, trying to catch up on tunes that I have going right now. Trying to stay up to date with all the new tunes coming out and keeping up. Yeah, just grinding and staying safe away from
Of course,
COVID and all that shit.
of course. I mean, yeah, there's a ton of new music coming out. I feel like we're just. I mean, it was like there was a stalemate for like a couple of summers where like no new music was coming out. They're just playing the same stuff over and over again. But now,
Oh
like
yeah.
flooding the market. And like for me, like I love music, so I'm just like, dude, I can't focus on a single album because next week the deluxe album comes out, or next week this other artist drops an album. And it's just like, bruh, slow down, please. Let me digest this. But I mean, yeah, I mean, it's great. Really does keep us busy. Really,
Yeah,
really.
there's definitely a creative surge going on. I think it's crazy how most of these cats coming on the scene now are like 16, 17 years old, super
Totally.
young, even out of high school, dominating. So
Yeah,
it's like, man, the new generation of music is about to be insane.
yeah, I had a conversation about that with my friend the other day, and it's just crazy to see like some of the artists that are popping off right now that finally hit their stride are like 20, 21 years old. Like, dude, like they're my age and they're making like millions of dollars, like if like tens of thousands of dollars a night just for like a show, and it's like holy shit, like that's just crazy.
Yeah, it's
Um,
insane.
so getting into it, I understand you're from Hawthorne, California, and you kind of grew up playing music. When was around the time where you learned your first instrument, and what exactly was that instrument?
First instrument was the drum set. I was in sixth grade. I didn't know how to play drums for my life. And we had this after school cover band called Attention Deficit. Shout out to Mr. G. So yeah, I basically lied and said I knew how to play the drums, and I went after school one day and I hopped on the drums and I didn't know jack shit until I started going to practice, and the current drummer put me on game, and then pretty much just air drumming taught myself. And then after that, I picked up the bass, and then yeah, now I'm just messing with the MIDI keyboard. I thought the future of music was gonna go towards like live, music,
Mm.
but that seems to be dying out, unfortunately. I hope it comes back. But yeah, after that, I got into like dancing and shit. And then it wasn't until after high school that I got into producing, which is a little late, I feel like.
I mean,
But yeah,
given like your background and everything, production was kind of inevitable. And it's like
yeah,
I think it's really interesting that you said when you started out you were like, I don't know shit, but I'm just gonna fake it till I make it. I mean, in many circumstances, you kind of have to just throw yourself in the deep end if you really want to understand and learn it from people that have like, because in that it like in instances like that, you learn from people that have their own quirks because they see you and they're like, okay, this guy needs some help and I need to like reach out to him and like put him on, like you said, like the current drummer for that band, when you were in middle school, like put you on. And it's like because of that you learn different styles, you understand certain or different points of view and different like different tastes. And I mean it turned you into like the producer you are today. So in a way, it was good to just throw yourself in the middle of in the middle of the ocean and just be like, all right, I got to figure this shit out. And I mean, you're not
sometimes
sinking,
that's
you
what
swam.
it takes. Yeah, sometimes that's what it takes, like when you want something really bad, you just kind of go for it. Um, Music is fairly easy to learn. As long as you have rhythm and like just a sense of understanding, period, it should be easy to catch on. But yeah, a lot of other stuff influenced my music as well, though, not just like being in band. Going into high school, so like towards the end of middle school, going into high school, there was like this dance phase or this dance craze that just came out. Everyone was like battling each other, going to the mall, doing all this hoodlum shit. Um, but all for the love of dance and music, and that that was cool because I really I feel like I really found my love and passion for music that I didn't want to pursue dancing. I wanted to be the person to make the people dance. So that's why I ended up picking up the laptop and the keyboard and just going in. You know, I always said that music is like one of the most powerful things in the world because it can make people move without words, strictly
Definitely.
rhythm. So, yeah,
I mean that's an interesting take. That you were like a dancer and you recognize like the sounds and everything. I mean, personally, I like to think that someone who's in a like who appreciates a certain like let's just say art form, like in your case, like dance music, that you understand more than just someone who like just recently gets into it and they're like, yo, I want to produce, or like they don't know much. I mean, granted, that person can learn, like they can figure out all the quirks and the ins and outs and everything. But I mean, you coming from like just from literally like just dancing and seeing and hearing different influences, different music. Yeah, I mean, you understand the appreciation for that music, and you're able to um, create art that you feel and you recognize as authentic because you I mean that's what you fuck with like that's what you always been
yeah.
banging with. So I mean, yeah, I really I honestly hear it in your music, and I hear the authenticity in it and everything. So I mean,
Thanks.
keep doing what you're
I
doing.
really try to make it as unique as I can. I feel like dance music, dubstep specifically, it's becoming very like repetitive. Like a lot of songs sound the same and stuff. I really try to like take different flows from different styles of music, different influences. I try not to make it as dubstep as it is, like rhythm and like super like just one note throughout the whole song. I try to add as much as I can, keep it exciting. Um, but yeah,
Um, so like I understand that you kind of got into Raven and everything, or production a little bit later. Was there like a moment when you were listening to like what when was the exact moment when you were listening to all this dance music, all this dubstep, and you were like, I think I can do this. Like I really want to do this.
all right. So after the dancing, I stopped or whatever, and then I made a new group of friends that were into rushing the Hollywood Palladium. So every like Friday, Saturday, we'd take the metro down to Hollywood, and we'd either pitch in for one ticket and have someone open the back door for us, or we just like knock on the back door and expect someone to open it, and we swing that door open and we run in there. So you got like a little squad of 16, 17-year olds, maybe like one 18-year-old jamming out to like Swedish House Mafia, all these big house techno guys. We had some dubstep events at the time. Those were a lot harder to get into, but yeah, so after just going to those events, I was like, yeah, those fools up there got it. Like those fools DJing, like I want to be up there. I want to see the crowd and see everyone having a good time. So I think it was after that and just like a little bit of time of legal raving that I was just like, yeah, this is what I want to do. It's not so different from like being in a band either, you know. It's
Hmm.
like cool. Like this is something I can do. I can manage on my own, and yeah,
Definitely. I
rave.
mean, yeah, exactly. That's crazy though that you kind of the way that you took the like your approach to getting into like dubstep and getting into shows. It's super it's authentic, dude. Like you were kids, you didn't have the money or you just weren't old enough to get in. So one person bought the ticket and then just let everyone in. Like, dude, that's you can't make those memories up. I mean, you can, but you eventually it'll like it just doesn't feel the same. Like the fact that you experienced all of that and you understand the culture behind all the music and everything. Yeah, I mean, it makes your art that much more authentic because you're like, I was a kid once. I admire these people, and now I'm doing what these people are doing. Like I'm just waiting for me to hit. I'm waiting for my stride. For the most part, like I'm doing what they're doing, and like yeah, I mean, like, what's there not to be proud of? You grew into this producer now, and I mean, hey, you're doing your thing, and I support you 100%.
Thanks, bro. Yeah, it was definitely a journey from where it all started to where it is now. It's man, it's crazy to believe, to be honest with you. Like I have homies that I used to rush with, and they always tell me like, "Man, you know, like you're doing your thing and stuff." But I like sometimes I don't see it, you know, like
Oh,
sometimes
definitely.
I don't see what I am receiving out of just like making music. But it is really nice and it is really cool, and I love like the culture behind dance music and like going out and like meeting all your homies and like yo like you know
Yeah.
yeah so that I hope that COVID doesn't screw us up so bad to where shows aren't going to be around for like another 2 3 years or something, because at that point it'll just become what obsolete in a way. Yeah, these times are rough for a lot of us.
Oh, definitely. I mean, even if you're not making music and you're just kind of you like so used to seeing like friends and just your family, being able like not even being able to see them and just knowing that like you can't do much because if you do what you want to do, you're gonna get like you're just gonna spread the virus and like the possibility of you getting sick is so much higher. And yeah, I totally agree. But like building off that point, I was thinking about it and like all like you know how like a bunch of DJs are doing and producers are doing like the video chat or like the Zoom or the Twitch whatever it may be like spinning and everything. I was like, okay, that's pretty cool, but like it will never be just being there in person. And like I've a couple people that I know have been like they've rolled a couple times during those, and I'm just like, it's not the same. Like I've never rolled, and I probably honestly like being completely honest here, I probably won't. But like it's just
That's
I know it's not the same. You like the feeling the music and seeing the and being there with the artist, it's a totally different environment than just being at home. So I mean, going off that point that you said about concerts being obsolete, I don't think you'll ever be able to take that experience away from people and like recreate it in an artificial way. So I mean, keep doing what you're doing, keep pushing your music, keep pushing new boundaries and everything, and I'm sure you're gonna be up like headlining EDC or like Hard Summer or something, bro. Like seriously.
And thank you. That means a lot. Like that's the goal, you know. That's the dream. Uh, Life happens sometimes.
You just gotta roll
So
with the
we'll just,
punches.
we'll just wait, find out, work hard, keep going, see where it takes me, takes us as a group, as people. We're on a journey. We're all in this
Yep.
together, like
Shared
so.
shared shared life experiences.
Exactly.
Now I understand that you're a huge fan of like the outdoors and everything. Have you been like able to reconnect and like do more things now that you're like you don't have a set schedule anymore?
Um, I recently went hiking with my dad. My dad's like in his 60s and hasn't gone hiking for like years. So to see him go on a hike and last, that was cool. Um, yeah, just not so much like being outdoors during these times because like most places are like or were
Yeah.
closed. So I mean, but like just being outside, skateboarding, doing what I can just to kind of stay active and like keep my mind at bay from everything that's being force fed to me online. Um, yeah, like was aside from COVID before, yeah, I would go on so many hikes. I've been like whitewater rafting, I've been zip lining.
Okay.
I like doing stuff like that because it makes you appreciate life more than just your technology and like the online world. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely. Recently I picked up meditating so like I have a pretty big backyard like here when I'm not at school. Like my parents' house is like a pretty big backyard, so I've honestly just been I started meditating like back in like November, and like when I come home, I just come outside and meditate. Yeah, just like being present in like nature and everything is so like it's such a perfect reset. Like it's such a natural reset because you're like you realize that what you're worrying about isn't really that big a deal because you're in a larger picture, the grand scheme of things around stuff that you can't even control. Like you can't for to an extent you can control a tree's growth. You just give it water and like you make sure like there's no weeds or whatever it may be. But I mean, like in the greater picture, in the grand scheme of things, it just grows. Like it does its own thing. It like it has no second thought about it. And that's like it's really interesting to take yourself out of your own mental prison, I want to say. Because I mean, like I've experienced and I'm sure like many people have experienced, like just they just feel trapped, and like going outside is like a perfect way of taking yourself out of there, doing like a whole like a hardwire reset and everything, and just like staying present in that moment. So yeah, I mean hikes. Yeah, I'm sure that felt great going on a hike with your dad, or like just seeing him like reconnect again with nature and everything. So.
Yeah, that's dope that you said that you just got into meditation. I recently just picked up meditation as well because there was a period where I couldn't get out of my head, and my head was telling me all these negative things about like just, just life, and it was hard for me to shake it. And my buddy Roman put me on to meditating and really just trying to calm your inner voice down and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And so, yeah, dude, meditation is really, really good. I love it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I was talking to like I was talking to like a professional, and they were like, "Hey, like until we can get you in to like see somebody so you could talk about it," they were like, "We recommend meditating." And I was like, "Meditating?" And they were like, "Yeah, just sitting there and just breathing and just being present and not thinking." And when I first started doing it, I was like, "I don't know how this is going to work." But to be honest, excuse me, I just went into it with no expectation whatsoever. I just did it because you can't expect something, because when you do, what you get may not be what you expected. So it may upset you, and you may not like it, or you may not even see results because you're expecting a different thing when in reality, what you need is not what you were expecting. So I tell everybody that asks me advice about meditating, I'm like, look, start off, just do it. Just do it for every day. You got to do it every day. You got to make it a habit. You got to make it routine, because then it just becomes it's like taking just like vitamins every day. It's a mental
Yeah,
vitamin.
part of your lifestyle at that point. Like a
Exactly. And
yeah.
just keep a journal too, because I started keeping a journal around the same time. And yeah, just track your just write about how you feel, and eventually there will come a point. Like I remember there was it was around December, because I'd been meditating for about like maybe a month and a half by that point. It was like the middle of December around Christmas time, and I just got in my head, and I was like, damn. I was working on this meditation where it talked about noting, where you acknowledge what you're feeling, and like and discern whether it's a thought or a feeling. And then from there, you discern whether the thought is positive, negative, or neutral. And then if it's a feeling, you discern whether it's positive, negative, or neutral. And I was doing that, like just sitting in the car, wherever we were going. I can't remember exactly where we were going, but it was with my family. And I just like started like freaking out somehow out of nowhere. And I just started like noting and everything. And like within like 5-10 minutes, I opened up my eyes and I was like, damn, that worked. Like, holy crap. Like I had no idea. I didn't expect anything. I was just doing it. I was just doing what my meditations were telling me. And I mean, yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And if any listeners, any viewers are wondering, totally meditate. I'm sure both of us will definitely like put you guys onto that.
Yeah, definitely take care of your body and mind as often as you can. It's the only thing that's gonna keep you going for
Totally.
sure.
Oh, most definitely. Do you feel like you're like, speaking of like our personal lives and our mental health, do you feel like you are able to kind of like, if you're ever feeling like in like a weird emotional state, do you ever feel like that that helps push you and like motivates you to make music? Or is your music just kind of like just an internal like feeling that you feel whenever, like just whenever?
Um, so when I first started making music, it was very exciting. Every single day, I wanted to write tunes and stuff. After a while, I feel like I burned myself out from like kind of like, all right, I got to be on the laptop 24/7 every day. These days, I feel like if it feels like a chore, I'm not gonna do it. So like, I want to feel that energy of creating music. Um, but sometimes music can be very detrimental to my mental state because a lot of factors play in, like, is this good? Is it gonna be something people like? Um, is it a banger or whatever? Like stupid little mental thoughts that just kind of make me doubt myself. So I often find myself stepping away from music until I feel it's okay to come back. But yeah, but like it in between those times, I'm either doing stuff outdoors or I'm like hanging with friends or like just doing stuff not to be on my computer.
Hmm.
But yeah, uh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's perfect way of saying it. Yeah, you should never feel that you have to do it, because if you do, you're just gonna burn yourself out, and nothing's gonna sound as good as it did when you had fresh ideas and took a break, like a couple weeks, couple days, however long you took your break, and then when you come back, you feel refreshed. But yeah, I mean, you see it in TV shows like late night shows where the host is going on every night, month after month, year after year, and they just like this stuff just gets old. Like I watched Desus and Miro. I'm not sure if you know who they are.
I'm not,
Um, they start off as a podcast, then they went to like cable TV, and now they're on Showtime. And I've
oh,
like I've yeah, I've seen them grow and everything, but they said the same exact thing. They're like, um, you can make a show every night and it could be funny, but until or there comes a point where you're like, okay, like I know it's funny, but I just don't feel it. Like I don't feel like it's authentic. So yeah, they're the same exact way. They take like a month break in between filming, and they come back and they're like they just recently got off their break, and they were like, yeah, I mean, it's a lot to stomach that they've like that has happened from when they took the break in the middle of May to like now. Like they're like
yeah.
it was insane, but they agree. They're like, you can't just burn yourself out because
It gives
the
them it gives them time to like have stuff to talk about too.
exactly, dude. Because let's
Like
be
if
real. Let's
yeah,
be
yeah,
real. In quarantine, there's nothing going on. Like, so I understand if like you're making music and you're like, dude, this is not, this just, I'm just not connecting to this, because you can't force like, you just can't force new material. It's just because if it's not new, then it's just gonna come out. It's gonna come to be played, and it's just not gonna hit anymore. So yeah, I
yeah.
mean,
You need inspiration for
exactly,
sure.
exactly. That's why, again, that's why going outside is beautiful. I mean, that's the only thing that's changing is like you see stuff growing, you see stuff dying. It's just like, I mean, it's better to be outside and to be in nature where stuff is naturally happening, than to just be cooped up inside and to not experience the beauty of nature.
Yeah.
So now I understand your music. I read your Spotify bio and everything. It was kind of funny. You mentioned that you wanted to go for like a horror type sound. Like you said something about like devils and demons, which was actually kind of cool because I was listening to your music and I really heard that sound. Was there a specific producer or DJ or performer that put you onto that sound?
So like that whole like ideal or concept comes from my metal days.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
like a big fan of like Slipknot, Sabbath, Iron Maiden, like just all those guys. So whenever I would see them play, it's always like some twisted shit, or like their music videos are like fucked up. So sorry for my language, but
No, you're
yeah,
good. You're good.
yeah, like comes from that metal background. I'm rebranding though. I feel like that stuff is getting a little washed up, played out these days. It's not as
Mhm.
appealing as it once was because everyone's on it. But yeah, like I do have some influences in my music where it's like, oh, your soul is mine, or like welcome to hell, like. But that is really just driven by like anger and like my angry side, like like that's like my outlet to make like heavy, dark music. But as I grow, I just don't feel as mad anymore.
Oh,
So
definitely.
like, yeah, I gotta change my Spotify bio. Thanks for reminding me.
Oh, of course, of course. I mean, that's an interesting point that you made. The older you get, the less like angsty and mad you are. I'm gonna be
It's
honest. I'm not a producer or anything, but I kind of noticed that. Like I would listen to certain music when I was like say like in high school or like coming into college, and just it was different. It's just I mean it's not like I don't like that music anymore. It's just that it just doesn't resonate as much as it used to, because I was in a different mental state. I was at a different place in my life. But now I mean going through like 2-3 years of college, just like going through different experiences that I would have never experienced had I not been in college, or had I just or like I would have never even thought about just being in high school. Yeah, of course my music taste changes. Yeah, I listen to like I mean similar stuff, but it is on a different like just attitude and just a different vibe, then yeah, I mean, yeah, I've definitely grown and matured and been able to I guess you could say control my emotions and understand where they're coming from, so it just doesn't seem like I'm just angry all the time. And you putting it into an outlet is a great way of like exploring that and really taking that apart. So yeah, honestly, I feel like music is a lot more beneficial than people realize. Production, listening, like everything. I spoke to a producer a couple of days ago, and he was talking about how he wants to manipulate his music by using binaural beats.
Oh,
Um, so he
yep,
can start like motivating people and like manipulating people unconsciously for positive ways, not so much negative.
right.
But yeah, like music is like a great way to explore who you are as a person and to really come into that person that you wanted to be that maybe you never even thought that you would be.
Music therapy. I don't know if that's like a thing, but like that's what I would call it.
Oh,
Definitely.
definitely.
There's a song for every emotion,
Hmm.
there's a feeling for every song, which is the same thing, but yeah. Um I do feel like a lot of the kids that do attend like dubstep shows, headbanging and stuff, have a lot of pent up rage. I've noticed that. That's like a common thing I've noticed of like the fans and like the artists. But it's dope to see though that like there are people like Papa Khan and Ace Aura. I don't know if you know who they are, but they are coming out with like a very melodic sound to dubstep, and it's really dope and
Hmm.
inspiring to hear that freshness. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I
It's
get it. I
not
get it.
like everyone was so mad, everyone wants to do angry, hate, right? All that stuff. But these guys are bringing light to the scene, and I think that's dope. Otherwise we're just gonna
Mhm.
stay stagnant in this little hole type
For
shit.
real. And the art form isn't gonna grow. Yeah, you're gonna lose fans because everyone's just like, oh, this is the same stuff, like blah blah blah. But yeah, I totally agree. I mean, every so often you need just to freshen it up. Same goes for just artists. I mean, you see people fall off and it's not like a bad thing that they fell off. It's just that, I mean, the sound isn't relevant anymore. Like it just is what it is. The way of life stuff is that's the only thing constant in life is change. So yeah, I mean, ride those waves while you can, but eventually you have to realize like stuff's gonna have to like you're gonna have to push the envelope even more to find where the new sound is coming from. And
Exactly.
I mean, given the current environment that we're in, yeah, we're obviously not going to want to listen to music that's all angry. And like, I'm pretty sure, I mean, that goes with meditation and everything. You want to start bringing positive influence into your life. So yeah, you start producing like positive music because you're like, yo, I want this attitude and this vibe to be like present more in the world and to start touching people differently than it would if we were just making the same like dark I'm gonna snatch your soul type music. Not saying that doesn't slap and it never like it wasn't a good thing. I'm just saying like it is time to like reset a little bit, go back to that music, listen to it, and be like, oh, this is yeah, I remember this. This is good. But then you'll be like, okay, but I'm gonna work on something new. I'm gonna work on something different. So
Yeah, you gotta innovate. You know what I'm saying? Gotta
exactly.
expand the horizons within music. You can't be afraid to do something that sounds happy or like,
Hmm.
you know, lo-fi bass or whatever. Like I'm a strong believer of making what I like, and a lot of the stuff that I like that I make, I don't put out. It's all like dubstep.
Hmm.
But I do plan on expanding that side of LazyFlex and venturing in like the world of like drum and bass, house, techno, just like try to become more versatile and offer music to everyone in the sense that if you don't like dubstep, well, you might like techno. If you don't like
Yeah.
techno, you might like deep house or like some, acid house or whatever. But like, I feel like that's another thing to talk about is that uh, artists, or from what I understand, try to limit themselves to one genre. And the moment that they
Mhm.
want to make something else, they're like, oh, I want to create an alias. Why? What's the point of creating an alias? What bands do you know have aliases to make different music? Nah, you should be able to use yourself, you as the artist, the first name you came up with, and just go for it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm. Totally.
fucking alias. Fuck that shit.
I mean, a great example of that is Kanye West. I mean, you've seen dude go from the backpack rapper to now a gospel singer. Um, he in the beginning he always said like, oh, I'm gonna make, like, I want my end goal in my career is to make a gospel album. So yeah, of course you have to constantly keep changing. That's the only way you're ever going to get better, is if you learn, you take every day as a learning lesson, or just a lesson in general. And
Yeah.
you learn, you grow, you don't stay stagnant, because if you do, I mean, yeah, you're just gonna get washed. You're just gonna end up just being like a has been, as negative as that term is. But yeah, you can't be afraid to change it, and you definitely can't be afraid of trying something new. So
Yeah. Don't let fear consume you in every way
exactly,
possible in this life.
exactly. Unless honestly it's your music. I mean, just let it consume you at that point.
Yeah. I feel that.
Well, I can sit here and chop it up with you all day. I've had a great time talking with you, and I understand you got to make some beats. You probably got to go. I don't know, man. You're a busy man. Let's be real. But I want to ask you. It's a two-part question, but it's like the final question. So first question is, what is a piece of advice you would either give yourself starting out, like a couple years ago, or would you give, or that you would give someone, artist, producer, creative, just in general, that you would want them to know starting out? And then if there's any artists that are that you've been collabing with and listening to, and you want to give them a platform, just go ahead and shout them out.
Cool. All right. So, some advice I'd give to up and coming creatives or just creatives in general is I wouldn't focus on your image so much. Focus on your art. Your art is the most important thing. Your art is what's going to speak, and then the image will come with time. Another thing is that in this industry, whether you're a graphic designer, producer, DJ, singer, right, dancer, you're always going to come across some sort of toxicity, whether that be people or just the environment you're in. Do not succumb to that. Do not, you know, let it affect you negatively. Just stay positive and keep going because you never know what can happen, and giving up is not an option. Um,
Amen. Amen.
so some people I want to give a shout out to. I want to give a shout out to my boys Gengar, Jeffrey Jommer, John D, Crud. These are all people you guys should be checking out on SoundCloud. Some of my very close and personal friends. Um, yeah,
All right
that's
then,
pretty
man.
much it, I think, for right now. There's more artists, there's more homies I can shout out, but I don't want to take up the whole time. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I mean, what's his name did that? Kanye West did that on graduation. So I mean, who's holding you back? You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you want to, go ahead. Like list off a couple more. We'll tag them in the end of the video too, and we'll put them in the bio of
All
the
right.
video, just so we can get that like extra push.
All right, for sure. Panda Music, No Sphere, 50K. Um, man, I got so many homies. Aerobase. Uh, yeah, all right, I'm gonna end it at Aero for right now.
All
But I
right,
can
man.
send you the tags and everything.
All right, perfect. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you again for tuning in. We really appreciate our good friend LazyFlex for coming out and participating in our interview. Don't forget to follow him on Instagram. That is at LazyFlex, all one. And don't forget to like and subscribe our videos, and stay tuned and put notifications on for our next video. All right,
Oh
guys.
yeah.
Thank you for tuning in. Peace.
Peace. Thanks for having me.
Of course.